On this episode of Michigan Fishing Nation TV. MFN TV is brought to you by Lunker City Fishing, Gator Bait Tackle, Hog Outdoor, Midwest Power Boxes, Porter Custom Fishing Rods, Jay's Marine Hardware, Underwater Green Fishing Lights, the Icewell Live Well, and Dead End Tackle.
Jeremy, Paul, and I headed out of Port Sanilac, Michigan. Once a lumberjack settlement in the early to mid-1800s with a current population of only 649 people, it's the perfect place to get away and fish for some Lake Huron lake trout, king, coho, and Atlantic salmon. Port Sanilac is formerly known as the town of Bark Shanty Point. The name came from the lumbermen who would peel bark from hemlock trees to use in tanning leather. Then they built a shanty in the current Port Sanilac area to live in and covered it with this bark. The shanty became a landmark to sailors on Lake Huron, and they called the place Bark Shanty Point, later changed to Bark Shanty in 1854. In August of 1857, the village was renamed Port Sanilac. We were off to a bit of a late start for the day. Someone forgot the planer boards in the truck. Paul will blame me for that, but it was Paul's fault. We were worried we missed the early morning bite for kings, so we tried getting set up as quickly as possible to get our lines in the water and on some fish. We were running 8 lines total, 2 on the downriggers, 2 dipsy divers, and 4 planer boards using lead core line. And in no time, I was reeling in my first ever lake trout. Some people say they don't put up that great of a fight, but for a walleye fisherman like myself, it was definitely fun reeling this thing in. Because the boat is still moving at around 2.5 miles an hour to keep the other lines off the bottom, it's important to not jerk the rod around while fighting these fish. Slowly pull up on the rod and reel in the slack on the drop back down, while keeping the tension on the fish. Jeremy scoops it up so I can land my first laker. Did you see that downrigger clip in action on the net? It works great. All you do is use an old downrigger release to attach the slack in the net to the net handle. This way, when you stick your net in the current behind the boat to net your fish, you won't get the fish in a tangled mess, which is how I lost my first king salmon last year.
5, 2.
Let's talk about lead core. The great thing about using lead core line is that it gets your baits down deep without having to use downriggers, which can be very expensive. It's also a very simple concept. Every color on a spool of lead core line gets your bait down 5 feet. So, if you put 3 colors on and let them all out, that's 15 feet deep, plus however deep your gator bait tackle body baits normally run. But you can also run a spoon, which shouldn't dive on you like a body bait.
Once I drop the rigger balls, it'll help you. 2.5, 2.4, 2.3, 2.2, 2.3, 2.2.
Paul was up next with another nice fish. What do you think, laker or silver? Silver is a term many big lake fishermen use to describe any kind of salmon such as king, coho, or Atlantics.
Yep, as you tilt it down, yep. And then you can let go when it's in the viewfinder. Nice job, guys. Good job, guys.
Well, if you guessed another lake trout, then you guessed right, which is fine. Some fish are better than no fish, but we were primarily after anything silver. I love big lake trolling. It's a nice break from the constant walleye jigging motion, but not as much as I love our smooth move seats. With these shock-absorbing boat seat suspensions, you can say goodbye to back pain and no more spilling drinks while driving the boat. Choose between the Smooth Moves Ultra with its 4 springs and hydraulic shock or the hand pump free Smooth Moves Air. Order yours today and unlock the full potential of a smooth ride on the water at smoothmoveseats.com. You can also check them out on their Facebook page. We headed out to deeper and clearer water to change things up a bit, and it's a good thing we did because Paul was on again with another nice fish out of Lake Huron.
MFN TV will be right back after a brief message from the following sponsor.
Is your boat carpet all washed up, worn and faded? Now, replacing that carpet is a Snap. It's a new solution from Custom Marine Carpet, the Snap-in Carpet Specialists. Custom crafted carpet to fit perfectly in your boat cockpit, and it just snaps into place. Plus, this boat carpet is identical to carpet most manufacturers use. It's made to withstand the tough marine environment without fading or degrading. Produced from solution-dyed fibers enhanced with UV stabilizers to protect it in extreme salt, sun, and moisture. It's simple to order and even easier to install. This is exactly what you've been looking for in marine carpet. For more information on Snap-in Carpet, call Custom Marine Carpet at 1-877-SNAP-IN-1. Tell them you learned about it on the Water Channel and receive your free boarding mat with your order. 1-877-SNAP-IN-1 or sign on to snapincarpet.com. Get on board with the best.
There's one thing you gotta know about Captain Paul. He loves to fish but doesn't like them in his boat. This was definitely the nicest lake trout of the day. You might not be able to hear it, but this lake trout was burping up a storm. Lake trout and salmon have swim bladders connected to their esophagus, so they can burp their way up to the surface, while fish such as walleye and perch do not. Here's Captain Paul setting up one of the downriggers. He winds it up and you'll see below the weighted cannonball is a release clip for the fishing line. He lets out about 100 feet of line before clipping the line into the downrigger release.
How much line are you letting out?
100 feet. So I bring 50 on rig. Play at different lengths.
Okay.
But kind of like here, the water's super clear compared to like areas.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll make
After clipping the line into the release, he drops the cannonball with the line connected down to the desired depth. In this case, it was about 20 feet of water. Once he's reached his target depth, he reels in the line to lock the rod and line into place without pulling the line out of the release. That's the fish's job, so that once that rod tip snaps up, it's time to quickly reel in the slack and land the fish. Speaking of fish, check out these back-to-back king salmon that were hammering this downrigger setup during our trip. Unfortunately, we went 0 for 2 on them, but at least we got to see them with our underwater Spydro smart fishing camera. Did you see that? The fish actually tried eating the camera. Like Jeremy said, if there was a hook attached to the camera, we would have landed that fish. If you listen carefully, you'll hear this second fish bust off the entire setup. What an awesome trip with 3 Lakers and some king action. So far, it's looking like a great Season 3 of Michigan Fishing Nation TV.
Until next time, thanks for watching MFN TV Tight Lines.